Hey guys, this is Nate from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you guys are having a great week of training so far. Today's video I want to talk on a little bit more about the endurance performance training strategies that I want you guys to be thinking about as you're preparing for your upcoming races in late 2020 leading into 2021. And basically what I want to do with this particular video was just to go through some of the questions that you guys have been asking me. I know I get quite a few comments under these videos, so I want to make sure that I'm not missing anybody's question. I know I know we all want to get better as athletes, so I want to do the very best I can to make sure that I'm hopefully answering your guys' questions. So I got about 5 or 6 questions I wanted to answer here for you guys. What I have to say is not the be-all end-all in terms of your preparation for your races. It's just what I would do personally in terms of preparing for my own races and the things that worked for me in the past. The first question is, how many times a week should I be doing a VO2 max workout? So I would definitely not recommend doing any more than one VO2 max workout per week, because the reason why is because it's such a heavy stress load on your body, and you cannot continue to push hard, pressing your maximum heart rate too many times per week, because obviously the body needs rest, and all the benefits of the hard work that you guys are doing on the track or on the roads is going to come in the rest period. So you cannot continue to push the body and expect a return on investment from your hard work. That was a lesson that I had to learn over the years when I was continually thinking I have to run more miles or I have to run faster paces to get better results, when a lot of the times it was I needed to rest more, I needed to lower my mileage rather than keeping it so high from where I had it. I got it up to 142 miles a week preparing for marathon races, and I ended up setting personal best for the half marathon and the marathon when I was running between 85 and 90 miles a week. So don't get caught up in this idea of higher volume is always the answer. You don't need to be doing more than one VO2 max workout per week. And examples of VO2 max workouts, if you guys are kind of new to the sport, or even if you're more like a veteran such as myself, any type of workout that's going to stress yourself anaerobically almost to your limits. Examples of these types of workouts, or maybe ones I've done in the past, are like 16 to 20 400-meter repeats at around your 5K to 10K race pace, with very, very minimal rest, or say 10 to 14 200-meter reps at closer to your 3K to 5K race pace. Repeat 200s, repeat 150s, the really hard anaerobic type workouts. Those are your VO2 max. It's your maximum oxygen uptake. So no more than one VO2 max workout per week. Another commenter left a question: is a sub 90 minute half marathon possible for me? He had mentioned that what his kind of training pace was and what his lactate threshold was, which he was saying his lactate threshold was around 7 minutes per mile pace. So as we know, a sub 130 half marathon, it comes out to about 6 minutes and 52 seconds per mile for 13.1 miles or 21.1 kilometers. So is that possible? Yes, of course it's possible. It's just a matter of doing your due diligence in training and staying consistent long enough for a long enough period of time. The fact that your lactate threshold pace is right around 7 minutes tells me that you definitely have the capability to break 90 minutes for the half marathon, because again, a lot of the world's top coaches that helped me and coached me over the years, as well as Dr. Joe Vigil, who's one of the world-renowned exercise physiologists, always kind of pointed to the fact that when we race, we're running at our lactate threshold or our anaerobic threshold. So it's very important to train at that effort, because you're going to be racing at that effort. But you also want to do, like I said, you want to do that one VO2 max workout per week. That way you're training faster than your anaerobic threshold, and you get to a point where your race pace feels more moderate rather than an all-out aggressive pace. You want to be able to sustain that pace for long periods of time. So in order to break a 90-minute half marathon, if your particular lactate threshold pace is right around 7 minutes, you need to focus on, over a longer period of time, just focusing on extending the amount of time you're training at that particular effort, that AT effort. because you're wanting to hold. You need to hold 6:52 mile pace with no breaks in between each mile for 13.1 miles or 21.1 kilometers. So really focus on progression, because you're not going to just jump into doing 10-mile tempo runs running at 7-minute mile pace. You have to go 3 miles and then go to 5 and then say 7. I would say anywhere from 7 to 10 miles AT pace would be really optimal if you can branch out that far, preparing for a half marathon to break 90 minutes. So that's my answer for that one. Somebody else asked, what do I need to do in order to run a 450 mile? My personal best is 5:05. Okay, so again, the fact that you can run a 5:05 mile already tells me you definitely can run under 450. Sometimes with the mile, as any other race distance, it's really just about doing the consistent work over a long enough period of time. You're obviously doing the right things already. The fact that you run a 5:05 mile, that is a very fast, high quality effort. And there's no reason why you can't go from 5:05 down to 450. You do need to be practicing doing those 400 meter repetitions. If you can get to, because you need to run 450, I think you need to run about 72 seconds per lap. So I would advise, if you can get to a point where you can do about 8 400 meters, running around 74 to 76 with around a 60-second recovery in between each one of those reps, and you're doing double the distance of your event. The fact that you have that 5:05 personal best already, you have the anaerobic capacity to run a 450 mile. It's just a matter of continuing to do the long runs, continuing to really jog and allow yourself time to recover from the hard workouts you're doing, continuing to focus on your leg turnover and working on your overall speed. Again, if you can get to a point where you can double the distance of the event that you're trying to run at slightly slower than the goal race pace of that event, you're going to run a 450 mile. I mean, definitely, if you can get to a point, like I said, you need to run around 72 seconds per lap for those 4 laps. So if you can do, like I said, around 8 laps in training, 8 repetitions, anywhere from say between 74 seconds to 76 seconds with minimal rest. Maybe early on, as you're getting fitter, you might need 2 minutes rest, and then as you get very fit and you're ready to do it, give yourself only 60 seconds rest. That is going to definitely be a great indicator to tell you that you're definitely ready to run a 450 mile. And again, there's so many other things that go into running great times in the mile all the way to the marathon distance. It's not just the workouts we're doing. You need to visualize yourself on a continual basis coming across the finish line, or hearing your friends calling out 441, 442, 443 as you're coming closer to the finish line. And you need to mentally train and mentally rehearse, prepare your subconscious mind to do what you're wanting to do. So I hope that makes sense. Another commenter asked the question, long runs. In terms of my long runs, what do you suggest I do in the last 2 weeks before the big event? In terms of long run, again, you need to, when you're tapering down, I believe in a 10-day taper rather than a 3-week taper. So I would drop, especially when you're 2 weeks out from the race, I would start dropping around between 40 to 50% off your last 2 long runs from your highest long run. So say you were up to 20 miles, and then you were a few weeks out, and then you did 14 miles, and then you went 10 miles. You need to drop it down to 5 miles, especially about 10 days out from the race. So again, it's about progression and allowing yourself time to recover, and not focusing so much on continuing to push so hard, especially in those last 10 days. You need to drop intensity and drop your volume, and again, continuing to do all the correct things after you get off the track and after you get off the roads. Hydrating well, practicing when you're in training, practicing hydration, practicing taking in enough fluids and taking enough calories. That way, when you get into the race, you've practiced it so many times that it's become so automatic that you're going to do the right things in the race because you did it in training first. So that's kind of where I would go in terms of the long run. Some tips for training for speed if snow is on the ground or I can't get on the track. I'm from Illinois, so Okay, great question. I'm in Indiana, so I know where you're coming from, and I grew up in Ohio, so I also know there's sometimes you're just not going to be able to do anything about the weather conditions in terms of getting out and being able to do a hard tempo run out on the roads or on the track because there's just so much snow. My advice to you is get on the treadmill, or if you hate running on the treadmill, get in the deep end of a pole. Take you have a choice of either wearing a flotation device or not wearing a flotation device. I would recommend, if you're trying to mimic a hard speed session, get on the deep end of the pool without a flotation device and focus on form and focus on running in the deep end of the pool for hard bursts. You can do fartleks in the pool where you're doing 1 minute hard running and then just kind of relax for a minute, and then 1 minute hard running, and doing that for like say 20 to 30 times. Or you can do a long run at the deep end of the pool. But if you're not wearing a flotation device, it's going to be much more difficult, and it's going to really mimic that hard anaerobic type of effort. Plus, you have all of the resistance of the running in the waters. That's going to be really close to land running and running at faster paces. So I hope this video in terms of endurance performance training strategies has been helpful for you guys. I'll continue to kind of comb through all of the comments and try to answer your questions the best I can. If there's something I'm missing, or if you guys have any particular questions, anything I can help you guys out with to get you guys to the next level, definitely leave me comments below the videos. I really appreciate thumbs up this video if you can, and share the video or any of my videos with anybody that you know that's wanting to really take the running to the next level. Of course, as always, I'll have resources below this video and all of my videos that will help you. Go to RunDreamAchieve.com. I also have training programs and running courses there for you. It is small, it is an investment, but if you guys are really wanting to take your running to the next level, sometimes you got to do that. I've done it several times myself. I've hired elite coaches and bought courses myself. Because you're always in that self-development mode. We're not trying to, some of us are trying to qualify for the Boston Marathon. Some of us are trying to run our first 5K or marathon. Others are trying to qualify for the Olympic trials and doing even higher things. So wherever you guys are at, those resources are there for you. So hope you guys have a great week of training. Continue to keep me posted on your progress, and we'll talk to you guys all in the next video.